The most daring and adventurous episode of the Big Bang Theory spin-off Young Sheldon, which aired in the second to last week of the season, had a heartbreaking character element that it served. Formal experimentation was generally not something that young Sheldon was very interested in. Some comedies, such as 30 Rock and Community, are full of meta gags that violate viewers' expectations by relying on the fourth wall, recognizing that the show is a TV show, and playing with common television conventions. On the other hand, young Sheldon's characters were the main source of humor, and the show was basically your run-of-the-mill, single-camera family comedy. A troubled but loving family, an older character who was delightfully bold and vocal, and an adult narrator remembering their youth were all present. The stories told by young Sheldon were entertaining and fresh. Yet the format was recognizable from Malcolm in the Middle, Everybody Hates Chris, and The Wonder Years. Having said that, the series finale of Young Sheldon surprised everyone by messing with the show's formula. Season 7, Episode 14, Memoir, introduced the show's narrator as an on-screen character in the last episode. However, the previous episode was the one that really revealed young Sheldon's ambitious vision and pushed the bounds of the show. As the camera pans back to young Sheldon's devastated family, they see him fixated on space, and their frustration with him further heightens the tragic and heartbreaking nature of his predicament. In Funeral, the penultimate episode of Young Sheldon, the focus was on the funeral of George Sir, Sheldon's father. Everyone in the Cooper family felt the effects of the catastrophe, but Funeral focused on Sheldon's psychological struggle to cope. The fact that the show's protagonist, Sheldon, spent the whole episode of Funeral mentally reliving his last discussion with his father demonstrated how much he suffers with reality. This was an ambitious and very daring storytelling move for such a traditional series, but it paid off with an episode that was just as emotionally wrenching as the finest one from Young Sheldon. Observing the dynamic between George Sir, Lance Barber, and Sheldon, Ian Armitage, as they cycled through several versions of the same scene was surreal for young Sheldon, but it effectively showcased Sheldon's distinct sorrow. As the camera pans back to young Sheldon's devastated family, they see him fixated on space, and their frustration with him further heightens the tragic and heartbreaking nature of his predicament. While young Sheldon skirted around the truth for years, Funeral proved something that Big Bang Theory refused to acknowledge. To be more specific, Sheldon isn't heartless or uncaring, he just has a different perspective on life and can't change it. Sheldon's sister Missy felt estranged from him due to his particular sadness, which manifested itself in his seeming distraction during the burial arrangement for George Sr.